In this demonstration, we're going to take a look at two different ways to back up your Windows workstation. One we're going to look at is a new way of backing up your files called File History. It's available on Windows 10. The second way, an older version of a backup using Windows Backup Utility. This feature was first created for Windows 7, and it's still available on Windows 10. First, let's set up File History. We're going to go to our Windows button and click Start. We're going to go to Settings. Now we're going to Update and Security. Let's go to Backup. The first thing we're going to do is add a drive. Click Add a Drive. You can see I have a backup drive here, so let's click My F Drive. This automatically backs up our files. It gives you a very simple way of going into your hard drive and your backup and retrieving those files. We can click on More Options here to delve in a little deeper. You can tell it when to back up. You can tell it to go back up right now at this moment. You can tell it how often to back up and when to keep your backups. You can even tell it to select these specific folders or to exclude folders. Currently, it's already added all these folders. If there's a folder missing that I want to add, I can put it here. Let's say I don't really care for my saved games folder. I could very easily just add it and exclude it from my backup. That's pretty simple. If you ever want to turn it off, you can just tell it to stop using the drive. Now, let's switch to another machine, and we'll show you how to do the legacy version of Windows Backup using Windows Backup Utility. This method provides more than just a backup file history. It can also be used to back up the entire image of the computer, but it requires a little more effort and maintenance than the file history method. Let's go to Control Panel. We're going to go to System and Security and Backup and Restore. The first thing we need to do is set up a backup. The first time you use the Backup and Restore tool, you need to click Set up Backup. Keep in mind that you can't have more than one backup job on the system at a time. The first thing it wants us to do is select a drive. I have this backup drive, Drive F, which I've already set up, so I'm going to use it. Click Next. Now it gives you an option to let Windows choose for you and decide what to back up, or to decide that for yourself. I'm going to determine that myself, and I suggest you do the same when you set up backups. Whichever choice you've made, you have the option to back up an image of your entire system. You can select the C drive or the whole local disk and the system reserved partition. They're backed up and put into a VHD file that you can use for a bare metal recovery or a complete recovery. That way, if your system dies, you have an image of it, so you can easily restore it back to its state when you made the system image backup. I'm going to select the C drive and keep the system image. Click Next. You can also choose your system libraries as well. Now we see a summary of items included in the backup. You can also change the backup schedule here if you want. By default, once we create the backup, it'll automatically follow that same schedule. We can change the schedule whenever we like. We're being warned here that we might need a system repair disk if we want to use the system image file. We could also boot it from a Windows PE utility CD or a Windows 10 media disk. We're going to save these settings and run a backup. The backup is in progress. Now the backup is completed. There's another thing we can do here in the left-hand pane. You can see some options. We can actually change the schedule for backups if we click here or go to Change Settings for Schedule. Our schedule is currently set up to Sunday at 7 p.m. We can also create a system image from here without backing up the system. Under Location, we have options for managing space. If we click on this, it'll show you how much space your backups are taking. It can also show you all of your previous backups. You can go in and delete those if you wish. You can change your system image settings as well. Now that we've backed up our system, we want to see files in the backup. Let's go to the backup drive we set up. We're going to go to the F drive backup. You can see that there will be a couple files backed up onto the drive. This file, this Windows image backup, is our actual backup folder. Let's open up this folder and allow access. This is the first time we've actually opened it. We're going to the computer name and this file right here, this backup with a date. This will show us several files, but there's two files that we want to focus on, our VHD files or our hard disk image. Let me expand this a little bit. In our hard disk image files, you can see that this file is much smaller than this other. This hard disk image file, or VHD file, is actually a backup of our BitLocker section. This is our actual backup. We can mount this VHD file through our computer management settings. Let's right-click on Start and go to Computer Management. I'm going to go to Disk Management. We can see all of our hard disk information here. We want to attach a VHD. Let's go to Action, Attach VHD. Then we can browse to the location. I'll have to browse to that external hard drive or that backup drive we set up. Let's go under our file, and we want to make sure that we choose the file that's larger than the other. Click Open, OK. Now, if we scroll down, we can see that the drive's color is a little different. It's trying to show you that that's the VHD. If we right-click on the drive, go to Change Drive Letter and Path, we can add a path. We have to give it a drive letter, so let's just make this our E drive for now. Click OK. That successfully mounts the drive as the E drive. This VHD file is mounted now, so if we go into our file system and go here, we can see the E drive. Now we can open this up, and what you'll see, which is pretty familiar, is our actual Windows system folders. If we open up another file explorer for this PC and go to the local disk, you can see that these are the same folders. The backup VHD is pretty much just a copy of the exact same thing we're seeing on our C drive. That's perfect. Now we don't need the VHD on here anymore. We're going to detach it. You don't actually want to right-click it and hit delete. Otherwise, you could actually delete the VHD file, and we don't want to do that for our backup. Let's go ahead and close our management window. The other file that exists on our backup drive right here is a Windows 10 backup file in a compressed format. If we right-click and we click Open, Continue, we can go in and see the contents. You'll see these are all zipped files of our backups. It's a file-based backup, so it's very easy to restore files without having to choose a backup location. As you can see, we can take advantage of the Backup and Restore tool to back up files and folders on our computer. We can also create a complete system image of our machine in case of a disaster. And that's the end of this demo. In this demonstration, we covered two different methods for backing up your workstations. The first is to use the File History feature introduced in Windows 10, which only restores files. The second is to use the Windows Backup utility.